Hello IBMers, thank you for supporting the 2020 ECF and bid for my cards on the online auction. Some of you asked whether I can demonstrate how I make these cards, so I'm going to show you how I make this card today. So I chose this nice Christmas green color, and I'm going to score this card in the middle so it folds nicely. So the scoring makes this crease really nice and straight. So then I'm going to punch the snowflakes on here on the white card. So I have a punch with all the different kind of snowflakes. So now you see I have this nice edge of snowflakes. So I'm going to glue it on this card. So this nice glue is really helpful, I find, because at the beginning when I use the regular glue and it kind of, when it dries up, it's not even anymore. It kind of, the card becomes popping up here and there. So this glue solves the problem. So now I have my nice snowflake edge on top. So now I'm going to stamp onto these different images. So I have this package, it's called Snowfront. So I'm going to start with the house. So there's a little house in the middle there. So I'm going to stamp it on there. So I will use a brown color for the house. Okay, so there's my house. And then while I have the brown color, I'm going to do a brown tree. Okay, so you see there's my brown tree there, and I'm going to do another brown tree. See, my cards start to take shape. So now I'm going to do a couple of these pine trees, these green trees. So I'm going to do the large pine tree. I'm going to put it on the other side of this block. So I will take off this one. So for the pine trees, I'm going to use the green ink. So this is kind of a bright green. There are so many shades, so I only have two kinds of green. So one. So I usually use this to stamp another tree, like a lighter colored version. So you will see in paintings that you only see half of a tree. So that's kind of the idea, and they are different shades. So now we have like one big tree and two halves. Okay, so now I'm going to do the foreground. So it's another light green, well, bright green color. So you see, so now I have these trees. So now I'm going to do the two deers. So I already have it here. And the deers, I'm going to do red. Okay, so now it's looking really good. So I still want to add a couple of more smaller trees, like for areas like these a bit white areas. So I'm going to, I have some small pine trees. So I'm going to put one. So now I'm going to use a different kind of ring just to make it more interesting. Just that's the only two kind of ring I have. So I have one here darker at the foreground and then one lighter at the little bit later in the forest, I guess. So then I'm going to do another smaller tree. So I will take this off. Again, it's the moss green color, it says. So like that. So is that enough, or do we want to do another small tree? So I felt like in this gap we can do a little bit more. So I'm going to take off this little house. I have the smallest tree. I have 3 sizes of pine trees. So okay, so I'm going to put a darker color at the foreground, and I'm going to put the lighter color in here, in between this tree. So now I feel I have had enough trees on here. So that part of this card is done. And now I want to put a little label on top. It says Winter Wonderland. So I already have this pre-cut little little label, and I will show how to cut next time. So this time it's more about stamping, and next time it's more about cutting. So I will focus on stamping this time. So Winter Wonderland. So I have my little label also stamped. So when I glue it on, I have these 3-dimension like pop-up glue dots. So I use these so that it kind of it gives a little bit of more interest to the card, so that it kind of, the label stands out a little bit. All right, so I'm going to put it on this top corner here. All right, okay, so like that. So final finishing touch. So I have this pen that has a little bit of glittering on it. So I'm just going to brush it on the pine trees. Brush a little bit, brush a little bit. maybe even on the house. So I know it's kind of hard to see on the video, but it makes there's a little bit sparkle on the trees and on where I put this on. Finally, you know, on the inside, it's a little dark when you write. So I typically will put a piece of white paper on it and like this. So then I have so then I stamp another message on it. So voila, so that's my card. So the front and the inside. Thank you.